All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarah Seti. Kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right, family. We're excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarah Seti YouTube page, a dynamic page. Y'all know what it is. Resume speaks for itself. If you're feeling the revolutionary frequency and energy, you should become a member. The link is right down in the video description. It says join. Click that link. You'll get a video uh, uh, introduction video, rundown on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarah Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. Ring the alarm, kingseti.com online marketplace. 25% off selected items at this time. Official General Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies for the kings, the queens, and the children. We got African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. 25% off selected items at this time. Come check out the catalog, find you something nice, say shop and save, and get you a discount at the same time. That's right, family. Pull the fire alarm, generalseti.com, SETI University, over 1,000 videos of pure heat presented by General Seti. We also got the supplementary documentaries and lectures from the master teachers and master researchers. And so you should most definitely check us out. There's nothing else like it on the planet. You got the lead, you got the sage of the age and General Seti, and then you got the master teachers that the general has validated for the people today, the master teachers that you should continue to study and master and advance your mind and advance African academics. This is the place to be. Generalseti.com, SETI University. Check us out. Thank me later. That's right, families. SETI popping on Patreon. BPC making noise. We never come. Exclusive live streams. Too hot to handle on YouTube, but just so exquisite. We keep it for our family on Patreon. Just drop this evening. Did aliens build the ancient pyramids of Egypt? This is needed because a lot of our people is caught up in mystical, magical, without understanding the concrete evidence that's proven to the otherwise, the truth of the African creations of ancient Egypt. And so we need to continue to wake our peoples up to the truth and take them out of the clouds of illusion. You see what I'm saying? And lies that is being distorted just for the sake of leading our people away from their greatness. So get on over there to Patreon. You got over 200 and some odd exclusive live streams that cannot be seen anywhere else other than Patreon. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sarasun Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share with your family and friends. And comment, comment, comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Now, we're going to continue on for the last video tonight, where we dealing with a master forger. Master forger fools over 45 museums into accepting fakes into their collection. You see, to accepting fakes into their collection. 45 museums. Okay? How was this done? You see, 45 museums. You mean to tell me that this forger was that advanced that he could fool supposedly perfect? We talking about some of the most advanced professionals on the planet. On the planet. Yet and still, this one forger was able to fool and dupe that many supposedly top professionals. How is this possible? And it shows to the extent what's in these goddamn museums. That's why a fucking degree don't mean shit. You see, people put that shit on and They walk around with degrees and all these goddamn titles. And I know scholars just straight off the damn street that'll set their ass on fire. You see what I'm saying? They ain't got no PhD, no HD, no nothing. No master, no BA, not even an associate. But they so educated in the science of our ancestors, then read so many books that they'll run a goddamn PhD, run them out of shoes. You see what I'm saying? Run him out of shoes. Okay? And so we're going to look at how this forgerer was able to do this. This is crazy. This is mind-boggling that he was able to do this. Did I put it in here? Oh, here. Wait a minute. Matter of fact, did I even take it out? Let me see. Let me find it right quick. It's crazy. They say he was so gifted that he can look at any damn painting and recreate this. Here you go, right here. I thought I had, but I didn't. Okay. Listen to this shit. And I believe they made a movie out of it. Art and Craft explores how one forgerer duped more than 45 museums. Listen to this shit. For nearly 30 years, art forgerer Mark Landis duped dozens of museums into accepting fakes into their collection. His stunts made headlines around the world. But Mark Landis never asked for money, so he never went to jail. If he had asked for money, that motherfucker probably be doing life. You understand what I'm saying? All the money he would have probably got from fake. Now, his paintings and drawings are in a touring exhibition called Intent to Deceive. And he's the subject of a new documentary called Art and Craft. I'm going to go check this shit out. I'm gonna watch this shit. I'm gonna see where it's being shown at. Okay, Landis is a paradox. He's a shut-in who craves interaction. His house in Laurel, Mississippi is extremely cluttered, but his scams are well organized. In Art and Craft, we also learned that Landis is a huge fan of old movies and TV shows. Mark has almost everything up to a point, maybe the 1970s, says Art and Craft producer and director Jennifer Grousman. He remembers not only names and titles and actors, but lines from all these movies which do not make their way into his vernacular. In the film, Landis quotes, among other old gems, Outer Limits, Those Who Have Nothing to Hide Have Nothing to Fear, and talks about how he and his late father lived by the code of the saint as a Roger Moore character, Simon Templar from the 1960s TV show. Landis is a wisp of a man. He's thin, pale, and bald, and looks like Truman Capote. He admits he has always had a mischievous streak. The filmmakers tag along as he performed some of his stunts. While contacting museums, he would often use aliases and dress like a Jesuit priest. With his odd demeanor and his near encyclopedic knowledge of art history, Landis could easily come across as an eccentric art collector, says Sam Kuhlman, co-director of art and craft. Mark is one of those people that are so unusual, that you kind of don't know what to make of when you meet him. Okay, his skills with a pencil or a paintbrush are undeniable. Often using magnifying glass, Landis studies a print of an original work and with meticulous attention to detail copies exactly what he sees. Okay, religious icons, impressionist or modern works. His recreations in the style of old masters are astonishing and are and so are his tools. They include magic markers. This motherfucker using magic markers and pens and Walmart frames. This motherfucker getting Walmart frames. Raw materials that proper forgers might not use, says Coleman. More than 45 museums. You hear this? More than 45 museums. Let me get back to it. Let me. More than 45 museums could not tell the difference between Landis copies and original works. From his sketches of well, he got some he got whatever they say academic nudes, to his Charles Schulz characters from Peanuts. Not only were his fakes convincing, but he also knew exactly what to say when he met with museums. As one museum director explains in the documentary, Landis could imply he had more paintings. He had more paintings he might donate and possible endowments for the family's estate. The museum directors knew right where to hit us, our soft spot. You see, wait a minute. The museum director admits he knew right where to hit us, our soft spot, art and money. Since Landis was donating his copies to museums, he wasn't doing anything illegal. Art and Craft includes an interview with Robert Whitman, who founded the FBI's art crime team. Okay? It wasn't like Landis went in and said, here, I want to give you this fabulous painting by Picasso and you need to pay me $100,000 for the painting, Whitman said. That would be a crime. That's a fraud. But the fact is he gave it to the museum for free. In fact, Landis considers himself a philanthropist. Okay, but after nearly 30 years of giving his fakes to museums, he finally got caught. Goddamn, after 30 years? After 30 years, now I had to bring this up. You understand what I'm saying? Just to show you how masterful the forgers are in creating not only, thank you, family. Thank you. Not only creating, because he's a painter, but you got some that is just as gifted in creating statues and all type of things that just like the Dead Sea Scrolls. So when you know, it fucked people up when Walter Williams say all that, you know, when they talk about Sumeria, all that shit fake. You see what I'm saying? It don't take much. It don't take much. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. And you know what? I kind of laugh because I say, you know what? A lot of people thinking Walter Williams just saying anything. When he said that they would go out there at night and shit and place the shit in in the ground, and then they'll come and then they'll dig the shit up and they'll laud it as some great find and shit. I got a report because I was looking up forgeries and great hoax, scientific hoax. And one guy who was, I believe he was I don't know if he was an anthropologist or whatever. He had some motherfuckers in the same university scientific department that didn't like him. And so they set him up on a dig, and they placed some fake shit down in the ground. They put it down in the ground for him to find. And he when he found it, he presented it to the world. Man, it was all type of stones with carvings in that shit and this, that, and the third. And he wrote a book on the shit. And then after he wrote the book, they come out on him and said that they was fakes and that they had placed it in. And when he saw that it was true, they say that he tried to buy back all the books that he had put out there. You understand? On the embarrassment. So it shows you that a lot of this shit have been placed in the ground. You understand what I'm saying? They place it in the fucking ground, and then they come with the cameras and shit, and they dig it up. You see what I'm saying? And you think it's been down there for thousands of years, and they just put that shit in there last night. It's real, family. You got to look at it for what it is. You see, you got to look at it, what it is. Sumeria is like Disney World. A lot of this shit is like Disney World. Marvel Comics. You see what I'm saying? It don't take much. All these Gnostic books and shit and all these Bibles and shit. Do you know that you got characters? You got characters in Marvel Comics. I mean, this is like a world unto itself. You know what I'm saying? Do you know you got one comic book character that hundreds of writers and illustrators and shit have created stories for this one character, the Hulk. You got different versions of the Hulk. You see what I'm saying? And so when you look at the collection of material that, just under the Hulk, man, this is a whole world different. You could just fall in, just one character. So when you think of the thousands of characters that been created in Marvel Comics, thank you, family. When you think of all the characters that been created in Marvel Comics, and then you think of the different illustrators and artists that then drew under that character, and all of them, some of them totally different, even though the character is the Hulk or Iron Man or Thor or whatever it is. They got so many different versions of that character, so many different writers, so many different illustrators. It's like a fucking one character. You could be lost in that. You see what I'm saying? Letting on the whole collection. It's no way you could do that. You see, to get into the whole collection, that's not going to happen. You see what I'm saying? That will probably take over a lifetime to do. You see, so if you thinking about, but none of these is characters, but they got lives and shit and a whole different, over 40 and 50 and 60 years and shit. And thousands of productions of different stories and shit. So when you just look at Marvel Comics alone, man, Marvel Comics got more literary production than the Bible and biblical shit. You see what I'm saying? So if they could create all of this material in like 40 and 50 fucking years, the Bible ain't shit. That ain't nothing to produce. That ain't nothing to produce. And what y'all fail to understand, just like I was, you looking at just paper, it's shit that you can pour on paper. You see what I'm saying? To make it look old. If first and foremost, you get a certain type of material, you see what I'm saying? And they got shit that you can wet it down with that make it look old and shit. You see what I'm saying? They mastered that. They know how to do that now. They got whole colleges of that shit. And so that's where y'all fail to understand. I mean, you can go to, you know, we talking about forgeries and shit. You got some antique furniture shit in places that where they, you know, they create, you know, all type of, you know, it's a newer look, but it's like a lot of old shit, you know, ancient shit that they create. All that shit for like a lot of even like what's that? The Taj Mahal, all the even the damn like all type of shit in like Hollywood. They got like old statues and shit, and that's where they create that shit. That's where fucking even when you talk about what the shit that the New Wabians had down there, I know the motherfuckers, man. They creating that shit and they in goddamn Hollywood. You see what I'm saying? They got motherfuckers creating all that shit in Hollywood. So they got motherfuckers that do that, but they got some that master in making that shit look ancient. You see what I'm saying? This is facts. So you really got to, you know what I'm saying? You really got to know your shit. You know what I'm saying? When you you know, when you studying, you know what I'm saying? You know, and so after looking at things, and listen, even the papyruses and shit, you got to, you know, you got to have an eye for that. Because I mean, when I went to Egypt, man, you know, they putting some papyruses together now. They didn't got, you know, where shit you can get it ain't gonna look old, but they didn't got gifted. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going, I cannot lie to you. You see what I'm saying? Where, you know, you can get papyruses today. Now, you know, I'm not talking about that cheap shit. I ain't talking about that banana leaf that they be having. I'm talking about, nigga, I dropped $1,000 down. You understand what I'm saying? Which was like shit. Which was like 10,000. Well, it was $7,000 in Egyptian money. You see what I'm saying? But I dropped $1,000 down and shit, man. I got one damn near the side. That motherfucker cold. Motherfuckers want to buy it to this day, and it's a heirloom. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that they had. You got some that's, you know, but then you got some that's so exquisite. You see what I'm saying? That's so exquisite that you know what I'm saying? So to show you that you got some artists, man, that are very gifted in recreating things. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm quite sure that that's why when I do study, you know what I'm saying? I go to that stone. You know what I'm saying? And even there, but it's going to be more unlikely that, especially because, you know what I'm saying, that Mennehat Habu, which I believe was constructed by Ramesses III. Now, a lot of people talk about Ramesses II, but Ramesses III was no joke. Okay, he was no joke at all, and he is one of the greatest pharaohs of all time. But he constructed that temple, Mennehat Habu, and in that temple, the hieroglyphs is carved so deep because he knew that, you know, when the invaders come in, that they would try to chisel. You understand what I'm saying? The writings out the walls, and I seen that Edfu where they did that. A lot of the temples they did it. They would come in and try to chisel the faces off of them and just, you know, desecrate and this, that, and the third. But at Mennehat Habu, he carved the glyphs into the stone almost, man, to your knuckle. You see what I'm saying? You talking about 3 or 4 inches deep. You understand, where you could put your fingers in there. So, you know, you got certain temples. You understand what I'm saying? And you talking about some of them damn beams and shit at the top. Ain't no motherfucker climbing up there doing no shit like that. You understand? They ain't doing no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's certain areas that, you know, you can be quite sure, you understand, highly probable that it's original. You see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, you know, you ain't going up there doing that. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no way, you know, you're not going to do that. And so, yeah, it's still a level. And, I can, me personally, the African, essence of it, being able, to see, being trained into the system. Once you fully enveloped into the culture, you can see shit. Because if a motherfucker gonna change it, he gonna change it from his Africanness. You see what I'm saying? He ain't gonna leave it the same. That's the reason of changing it. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't gonna. I done seen some scrolls where the motherfucker, then I could tell like this is some bullshit right here. What is it? What is this? And so they putting a lot of fraudulent shit out here to defame our ancestors and this, that, and the third. So you have to watch what you see out here, most definitely. You know what I'm saying? They'll put some shit out here, just and knowing the Africans did not practice sideways shit. You seeing shit pop up and shit and this, that don't even align with the thought patterns of African people. And so you had to watch that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, but just to show you that this guy was able to fucking, this motherfucker duped over 40, it took for over 30 years. Over goddamn 30 years that he did this. You see, and say after nearly 30 years of giving his face to museums, he finally got caught. You might call Matt Leininger the story Sherlock Holmes. He was the registrar at the Oklahoma City Museum in 2007, where Landis offered to donate works of art there. Leininger did his due diligence and found out that other museums had some of the same works. These are no small potatoes, Leininger says in the film. One Landis version of a Alfred Jacob Miller painting made it into 6 or 7 museums. Damn. He was duplicating the same damn paint. Leininger spent a few years tracking down which museums Landis had fooled and tried to spread the word. Leininger admits that he became obsessed with stopping Landis for the documentary filmmakers that gave the story some great attention, says Coleman. The setup as we introduced to the story was these people. Well, I don't want to get into all of that because they're going more into the, the storyline and but he was able to do this. And so, yeah, finally somebody came out. And really, it was the fact that, he was a goddamn, you duplicating too many of the same goddamn. But if he hadn't duplicated so many of the same, he might have been able to get away with the shit. But 30 years is a long motherfucking time. 30 years is a long motherfucking time. Yeah. 30 years is a long motherfucking time to be getting away, and that just show you that they not even connected, because goddamn, you can't see, you would think that lovers of art would go to a lot of these museums and would actually see that this shit was duplicated like that. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't do it. And so he was successful at this. And so I'm putting this out here because a lot of people use science and this, that, and the third. And like I say, the crazy thing about this, and I'm coming back, a lot of this shit, not just the paintings, but a lot of this shit was taught as science for over 30 and 40 years, such as the Piltdown Man, which is supposed to be some ancient fossil find that they found over in Britain, the Piltdown Man, and it was taught for almost 40 years that this was they were trying to say that Britain was the home of man. They were trying to, based on the Piltdown Man. And come to find out, a British anthropologist, he was the one that blew that shit open. He blew it open. Man, listen, when they found out, man, they had used bones from pigs and shit, that the skull was a fucking monkey, wasn't even a man and shit, and all this crazy shit. Yeah, they had taken pieces from different type of animals and shit, bones and shit, man. This shit was crazy. They had pieced this motherfucker together. And then they taught this shit to the world for over 40 years that this was the oldest fossil of man that had been found on the earth. And this shit was taught in fucking America. And I say, man, this shit is crazy. So, family, I want y'all to wake up. Do not be fooled by these scientific know nothing niggas out here that's ready to put your wrists and your ankles in the next fucking chain of ignorance and shit that you got to wake up and accept your greatness. And no matter how it doesn't fall, it don't never got to fall in line with your enemy system at all. It don't have to fall into that. You see what I'm saying? And you got to understand your African science versus they Western science. And you got to understand that the devil is a liar. And when you see the basis of what drives his psyche and this, that, and the third, it is no different. I don't give a fuck what a frame of thought, what subject that you engage in, the same frequency and energy that drives that Cro-Magnon Neanderthal and all that he do, you cannot separate science from none of that. So a man think of in his heart, so a man or a woman think of in their heart and mind, so is he and she, no matter what. And that's going to be what drives them in any subject, in any frame of thought, in anything that any segment of society. That's going to be, so that's the driving force. So you can't even separate the white man's science from his religion, from his politics, or nothing else. It's all uniquely connecting. You see what I'm saying? Just like links in a chain, it all connects. So his science is his religion, is his politics. This is General Sarah Sunseti saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge, bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power. You say, oh, I can't even read.